What's up, beautiful people? It's your girl Nonga. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome to the family. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. So in today's video, I am going to be sharing my journey of how I became a CNA, the struggles, the financial stress, where I just wanted to give up, and the moments where it was just all worth it. So if you're planning of becoming a CNA or just here for the tea, you will want to stick around because trust me, the journey wasn't easy. So go grab your popcorn, sit down, and let's have a talk. Let's get into it. Now, before I became a CNA, I started out as a home caregiver. So if you don't know what is that, a home caregiver is basically when you go to a client's house and you take care of them in their home. Sound easy, right? No. For me, I didn't like it. I felt like it wasn't for me. The client that I got was actually nice to me, but to everyone else, she was a nightmare. I don't know what was it, but she liked me. So we got along just fine. Plus, she lived 2 minutes away from my house. At least I wasn't spending any money on transportation because let me tell you, I didn't have any money to spend. At that time, I was really struggling financially. My bank was looking at me like, sis, don't even try it. I was making enough to survive, but not enough to live. Now, I didn't plan ahead at all. Why? Because I just realized quickly that doing home care, it wasn't for me. I just didn't like it. I didn't last even for like 2 weeks. And then I just decided to sign up for CNA class. I signed up for CNA school today and classes started tomorrow. I didn't even have time to think about it. Now, again, I told you that I was struggling financially at that time. So the issue number one, I didn't have money, okay? Now, one thing about America, you guys, America is very expensive. America is a very expensive country and America will make you pay for everything. Like my people from South Africa, there's nothing for free here. You pay in America. Okay, I just needed to say that. Now let's go back to what I was saying. At that time, I was struggling financially and my classes wasn't cheap. I paid 1,500, of which is equivalent to 28,000 rands. The reality hit me when it was time for me to go to school. The school was an hour away from my place, right? At that time, I didn't have a car. I was using public transportation. It's either I'm using a train or using Uber. If I use a train, I was going to be late by 30 minutes. So obviously I didn't want to do that. I'm literally forced to use Uber in the morning. Now, Uber is not cheap. Uber is very expensive. Uber in America is expensive. Okay. I just want to emphasize that. Uber, like actually everything in America is expensive. Anyway, so Uber from my place to the school, it was costing me $50 a day. So $50 times 5, that is 250. 250, that is equivalent to 5,400, I believe. Now, that is just money for Uber. Hold on. So remember, I was working doing home care, right? So in the morning, I had to call when I was on my way to the school. I had to call the agency and let them know that, hey, today I'm not going to be able to go to school because, I'm not going to be able to go to work. Why? Because I signed up for a class and I wasn't aware that they're starting today. I was working weekends and going to school on the weekdays, So at that time, I am barely making enough money, right? I think I was making $350 a week because I was getting paid weekly. So in that $350 week I'm making, I have to minus 250 for Uber, just strictly for Uber. Now, when I was going back home, I was using a train, was costing me $6. So $6 times 5. So just for transportation, I was spending 28. In maths, I was spending $280. I don't know how much that in rands, but here it is. So not enough money is coming in. My life was just school, work on repeat, So around that time, I was staying with my cousin and I wasn't paying rent for the first 3 months, of which I am so grateful for that because, again, I don't know what I was going to do if I was paying rent at that time. I'm only making $350 weekly. And in that $350, I have to minus 280 for transportation. And I'm barely left with anything to survive as a female, So yeah, life was just hard. around that time, I was going through some personal stuff. Going through that personal stuff, it was just messing with me. In school, I'm just not focusing, thinking about my personal issues. When I get home, I'm crying. My life was just miserable, you know. So I didn't realize how much was all of that is going to affect me until it was time for the exams. Now, the CNA exam is actually divided into two groups: the written test and the skill test. I studied hard for the written test. Why? Because I was panicking. I was freaking out, thinking that I was going to fail. I wasn't paying too much attention in class, right? What we was doing is that we were going to come in today, finish the chapter. Tomorrow morning, we was going to write a test. And then after break, we was going to do the skills. That's how we was doing. So, and then after that, we was going for clinicals. So clinicals is where you go to the facility and actually like see how it is, how you're going to be actually like working with the residents. So that is when I got the wake up call, like, okay, no, guy, you need to focus. Yes, you're going through a lot of stuff, but right now you can't afford to fail. You need to focus. If you are planning on doing CNA classes, YouTube should be your friend. Be on YouTube, do the practice test, watch the skills, practice until the day comes, because that helped me a lot. So that is when I got to work up. I'm like, okay, no, God, this is now serious. And again, I was questioning myself. I'm like, I don't know if I'm capable of doing this, you know, because it was just a lot. I'm not gonna lie. It was just, I'm like, okay, I don't know if I want to do this. But anyway, we did that for like 2 days. And then after 2 days, we had to go back to school and do the final exam. I'm freaking out because I'm thinking about the written test. I wasn't really panicking about the skills because I thought I had that in my bag, you know, I'm gonna pass that easy. And then after the final exam, I think we had to wait like 2 weeks before you get your certificate, not your license, but your certificates, where that certificate you're gonna use it to apply with through Promex. So during that time, I'm still waiting for my certificates. I had to call the agency immediately and let them know, like, hey, now I'm done with my school, so can I get hours? So I started getting hours, and my client found out that I was done with school, so she requested that I work with her full time. So I didn't have no days off. I was working with her full time. I didn't mind because she was living like 2 minutes away from my house, you know. I wasn't paying no money for transportation or anything like that, you know. And plus, she didn't really need a lot. She just needed somebody to be around her because I was literally not doing anything there. So it was just making easy money, you know. So after 2 weeks, I got my certificate. Now I had to apply through Promex so I can be tested by the states. America will make you pay. I already paid for my school fees and pay for whatever. So now Promex is coming and telling me that I need to pay like $150, not $120. I paid that amount of money and then I waited for the exam day. If you're planning on doing CNA or in the process, YouTube should be your friend. I was on YouTube practicing every single practice. I feel like that really helped me a lot, you know, so I was just best friend with YouTube now. So I am working now. Financial, I'm not too good, but now I'm not too bad because now I'm working like more hours than what I was doing when I was going to school. So I mean, a win is a win. So in that process, while I'm waiting to be tested by the states, I was already in the process of applying for a CNA. You know, I went to this facility. They called me in for an interview. I don't have my license right at the moment, but I'm in the process. And I told them when I'm supposed to be tested by the states. They put me in a system. So they told me that they're gonna give me like a month to come back with the license. And if I fail twice, they're gonna take me off the system. They're not going to be able to hire me, something like that. I don't remember. So I was like, okay. So I had to go to the police station and do the fingerprints and do the background check. Went to the police station. I was like, hey, I'm here to turn myself in. I'm kidding. I went ahead and did the fingerprints and did the background check, and then they were supposed to send it back to the facility where I was applying at. Now I'm waiting for the exam. nights before the exams. I am freaking out. I am panicking. I am studying. I mean, I've been studying, but I just want to pass this. I have a job in the line and everything. I'm like, please, God, just be with me, Now, I wasn't able to sleep at all. My heart pounding. My mind racing. I'm in my bed freaking out, telling myself, Nonga, you need to pass this. You can't afford to fail. I was just remembering how I was struggling, barely even having money to go to school. You can't fail now. You really cannot fail. Woke up in the morning, sleep deprived, heart still beating too fast, and I get my Uber. I tried studying in the Uber, but let's be honest, I was just too nervous to even study or focus. I mean, I already studied enough, but I just wanted to keep on studying. So since I wasn't able to continue to study, the least I can do was just pray and be like, Lord, just be with me. We get it in the testing center. The instructor collects our IDs and we sit down at the computer. My hands are shaking, so I logged in. First question came up. Easy. I was familiar with it. Actually, the first 10 questions were easy. The questions are starting to get tricky now. Okay, so now I'm like, this wasn't in the book. But guess what? I was the first one to finish. Now, this could either mean I'm a genius or I just rushed through everything and failed. So I went back and double checked just to make sure, I went back again, I checked, I went back again, I checked. And then I was like, okay, I think I'm ready. Now, the moment of truth. I press the submit button. I hold my breath. And then here it was. Congratulations. I was so happy. My God. Yes. And your girl got 95%. Come on now. Don't play with me in YouTube. Don't play with us. Please, just don't play with us. Now, I am so hyped. I'm like, okay, I got the written test. The skills, I'm going to pass. That is easy. I'm not even freaking out. So I went to the waiting room to wait for the others to get done. And yeah, it was time for the skills. Now, with the skills, there are 25 skills that you need to know by heart because you don't know which one you're going to get tested on. But you're going to get tested on 5 of them. So out of the 25, you're only going to get tested on 5, right? The hand wash is always going to be one of your skills, So you already know that you're going to get tested on the hand wash. You're just only left with 4 that you don't know. Now, I was very confident with my skills, but the only one I was really not confident with, it was the bad pen. So I was just praying to the Lord, like, Lord, please let me not get the bad pen. And the Lord was like, no, you're going to get the bad pen. So I got the bad pen. So my skills was hand washing, range of emotion, bad pen, what else? Respiration, and making bed while the resident is in it. I mean, the reason I didn't want the bed pen is because the bed pen have so many steps. It's just too much, That's the main reason I didn't want the bed pen. It has so much steps. And I was scared that I might miss a step and that would lead me to failing. So now I'm doing my skills. I'm logged in. I finish. I walk out and then I sit in a waiting room waiting for my results. I'm feeling really good about myself. I'm like, okay, I did really good. I'm proud. Until the guy I was partnered with, he turned into me and be like,
you did really good, but you made a mistake.
I'm like, but what you mean I made a mistake? Then he dropped the bomb. He's like,
they told you to do the hand and you did the arm.
Boy! Y'all. Guys, my soul left my body. The way my heart just sank, I was finished. I just knew I failed. I just knew when he told me that, I just knew I failed. And then he went and told me that he tried to show me, to give me a sign that, hey, I'm not supposed to do a hand. I'm not supposed to do an arm. I'm supposed to do a hand. Because when I was reaching out for his arm, he tried to give me his hand. So I was thinking, why is he giving me his arm? He tried to give me a hint, but I was too just so focused in I just want to get this perfectly. I didn't even catch that. And again, we're not allowed to correct somebody. If you see they're making a mistake, this is an exam. So if he got caught, he was going to get in trouble for that. So he tried to give me a hint. I didn't catch up with it. So he just went ahead and gave me his arm. I did the arm. So, yeah. So now I'm already thinking, oh, God damn, I failed. Sure enough, they came out and there was it. Failed. Written in red. I was so devastated, like really devastated, because the one thing that I thought I was going to pass, I failed it. The one thing that I was so confident about, I failed it. So I was just so devastated. I know everybody else is just celebrating, taking pictures, and I just wanted to just leave or disappear. I'm just like, God, damn, girl. So I was like, you know what, let me just leave, be on my way home, let me not be miserable in front of people. That was just embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie. When I was on my way to go, the guy, he is actually okay, I'm not even gonna try to say this in English because it's complicated. So umngani kamkhwenyana cousin wam brothers. So he was like, are you leaving? I'm like, yeah, I'm leaving now. He was like, if you don't mind waiting for a little bit, I can give you a ride. I'm like, do you know where I live? I live in Stamford. He's like, yeah, I know, I live like 10 minutes away from your house. I'm like, oh, I didn't know. So okay, fine, I will wait. So I just waited for them to finish whatever that they were doing, and after that he gave me a ride. In the car, they were busy. They were encouraging me and telling me that I did really good. It's just that I made a mistake. I shouldn't I'm stressed about it too much. I will go. Next time I go, I'm gonna do great. It was just a little mistake that I did. They were just trying to encourage me, but I was just like, damn, like being the only one who failed, it was just like, damn, damn. And then after that, we dropped his friend off, and then he was like, do I want something to eat? He's hungry. I'm like, yeah, I can get something to eat. We went to Burger King. He got me food, and then he dropped me off. That was really nice of him. That was really nice of him. And then I got home. I'm just feeling so down. I'm like beating myself up. I'm like, Nunka, why the heck? Like, you wasn't supposed to fail, And another thing that is making me freak out is because I was told that I'm already in the process of getting a job, applying for a CNA. So it was just really stressful. And then I had to wait 48 hours before I can reapply for a retake. And then after 48 hours, I called Promax, and sure enough, they made me pay again. I paid $75 again. It wasn't really surprising. It's America, so I paid that $75. I told them that I just want the earliest date I can get, So I went to a different location. From that, I was again on YouTube, trying to practice the skills. Finally, the day came. I went to that location. I got my 5 skills. I did them, and finally, I passed this time around. I mean, I was happy, but I wasn't that happy because I was like, as you should. When I got that paper and it was written pass, I'm like, as you should. I wasn't really happy because, So when I got that, I ran to the phone. I called the lady. Hi. So today was my exam day, so I passed. And then they were like, okay, that's good. She told me that tomorrow is going to be an orientation day. Would I be able to come? I'm like, yeah, I'll be able to come. So tomorrow, I went there. I had to call the agency and let them know that I'm not going to be able to come to work. That agency, I'm pretty sure they don't like me because of the way I was calling out. I would just call randomly. Hey, I'm not going to be able to come in today. Hey, I'm not coming tomorrow. And the reason they were so pissed is because they knew how my client is. She didn't want anybody. She was so mean and she liked me, So when they have to send someone new, they will have an issue. They will always have an issue. But I was like, hey, that is not my issue. That is your problem to deal with. I'm not gonna not do my things because I have no. I like her. I like my client. We have a really good relationship. But that doesn't mean that I have to stop my life, So they were really mad about that because I'm like, so I'm calling to let you know that tomorrow I'm actually not coming to work, because I recently just made plans. I have to go for orientation. So I went for orientation. Now, I went for orientation, and that day I was hired. Now I was officially a CNA. And then after that, life was good. I was getting paid good. I had 2 jobs because with my clients, with how she was, I just decided to just keep her. So because I was Instead of working long hours, I was just working with her from 9 to 1. And then after that, I have to go to work because I was working 3 to 11 at that job. So I had 2 jobs. I'm getting paid good money. I'm going on vacation. I was introduced to benefits. I got benefits. So I think the only thing that matters to me, it was the PTO. I got introduced into PTO. For some of you who doesn't know what is it, it is when you get paid for taking time off. And I was taking full advantage of that PTO. I wasn't playing with it. I wasn't messing around with that PTO. Baby, I wasn't playing with that PTO. It was the first time me being introduced to the PTO, and was working crazy hours anyway, like picking up shift like it was nothing. Like stacking that PTO, because the more you pick up the shift, the more your PTO accumulates. So I was making sure. So the life was just going good. I'm getting 2 paychecks a week. My life just perfect. I don't know about you guys, but with me, if my life is just great, life is just worth it. Life is just worth living, you know. I was going on vacation with my man every month. Not actually every month, but we was on a long distance. So that's when I say I was taking full advantage of that PTO. We was on a long distance, so it's either I'm flying over to him or he's coming or we're going on vacation. I was taking that PTO, so that's what I mean. I was taking full advantage of that PTO because it really played a huge role, you know. So, you know, I'm thinking I am with the love of my life. I'm with my soulmate. You know, life is just beautiful. Life is just perfect. I am traveling. I'm having fun. I am making good money. I'm having 2 paychecks. Like, life is just worth it, you know, until everything just went upside down. So that is going to be a story for another day. If you made it till this far, thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. I'm going to be sharing a story of how I became a CNA. And I'm also going to share how I almost packed my bags and went back home. Actually, my bags was already packed, you know, because I was like, America is going to be the end of me. So let me just go back home. Yeah, America, it is time for me to go back home. So I'm going to be sharing all of that on my next video. Thank you very much for watching. Till next time. Bye.